Rubi Sarang, whose phonetic name is on screen. So thank you very much, Rubi. Living and breathing. My name is, if you can just unmute yourself, thank you. Rubi's from HS2, the new high-speed railway that will form the backbone of Britain's transport network. HS2 are a founding partner of Race Equality Matters, so fantastic supporters. Rubi is a project manager at HS2, having joined as a graduate in 2017. She's also co-chair of the REACH, which is the Race, Ethnicity and Cultural Heritage Network at HS2. So a very warm welcome to you, Rubi. Thank you for joining us. So as a race network leader or co-leader, can you tell us how you've engaged with senior leaders and middle managers, and have you faced any challenges?
Thanks, Javed, and afternoon, everybody. So we've definitely faced challenges. I'll talk about how we've engaged with them first. So for us, the key thing is we're quite lucky at the network is that our CEO is our exec sponsor. And that was something that he wanted to do from the very beginning. So our network was refreshed and kind of relaunched back in 2020. And from day one, he said he wanted to be the exec sponsor, and he has been paramount to all of the work that we've done. We have very good engagement with our exec level and sort of our middle management, sort of line managers. But at the moment, one of our biggest struggles is sort of that senior leadership team. So that sort of, step up from middle management, not quite at exec. And kind of some of the reasons that we hear is, it's the usual stuff. It's, I don't have the capacity, I don't have the time. But for us, that's really the key, because, they are leading the teams on the ground, and they get to see sort of day by day the struggles of people. So one of the things that we've been doing really, really closely, we've launched a network strategy. And what we've done is we've made sure that we've linked our kind of aims and our objectives to the corporate KPIs, so we can really make it obvious the sort of impact that we could potentially be making. And one of the other things we have is, so we have a sort of a health and safety strategy at HS2 called Safe at Heart. And we've really closely linked our network strategy to that as well, because again, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We want to make it as easy as possible for people to engage, and we really do think that is the best way to do it.
Brilliant, thank you. And so forging these relationships, how has it enabled the network to become a highly valued asset in the business? Because obviously you've gone strategic with this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things our CEO said to us at the beginning was, use my convening power. I've got the power to bring all the important people into a room. So tell me when you want them in a room, and I'll bring them together. And I think obviously, him giving us sort of the value and showing to his SLT why we are so important has naturally given us a little bit of status within HS2. But also we've now kind of got our own power. So, we attract large audiences for everything that we do. We're also working really closely with, different directorates within HS2. So for example, the community and stakeholder engagement team, skills, employment and education, because again, we want to show that we can actually make their lives easier. We can support all of the things that they're already doing. So for example, we spoke to the skills, employment and education team. We engage with schools across the line of the routes. That tends to be kind of central London or central Birmingham, which obviously quite diverse. And the one thing that I noticed is, as a STEM ambassador, I go into schools quite a lot. The people that we were bringing from HS2 all basically were white. They were either white females or white males. But all of the students were ethnic minorities, in the centre of Birmingham or in the centre of London. So we kind of brought that up to the skills, employment, education team, and we said, is there something that we can do to make sure we're representing the students that we're actually supporting? Because we think it's really important that you see representation and you see role models. And now what they've done is, before they go into any school, they actually get a ethnicity and sort of gender breakdown of each school that they're going into, and they try to basically match up the volunteers to that school. And hopefully, we've first of all made their lives a little bit easier by making the suggestion. Also, it's increasing our impact massively.
And on that, so you put in the network as heart of the business. So what impact has the network had?
I mean, I think we've had a massive impact. I would say that. But I think, some of the things that we've done. So for example, in our last engagement survey, 83% of our employees described our culture as diverse and inclusive, which is a massive increase in the last few years. We also started a book club. So just before the network was relaunched in kind of, the summer of 2020 and George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, our CEO was recommended Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People by Reno Edo Lodge. And he read it and he was so moved by it, he recommended it to his whole SLT. And that has now spread throughout the whole organisation. And we've had over sort of 900 people read that book and then come together and talk about it. But we're also supporting recruitment. So we've started a diverse interview panel initiative. So we have a pool of volunteers trained to make sure that every single interview that we do has a diverse panel, which will again, hopefully lead to more diverse recruitment as well. And one of the other things that we've started, it sounds quite similar to what Jackie and Harvey are doing in Scout, we've introduced the concept of courageous conversations, which essentially is just a safe space for people to talk about their lived experiences. You know, nothing's written down, there's no actions that come out of it, but it's just a place for people to share their experiences and for allies to learn, to just listen and learn. And again, we've had exec members at that, we've had the CEO at that, and that is one of our most popular events every single month. And it's really helped people just to first of all know that there are other people feeling the way they are in the organisation.
Brilliant, great. Because see people asking about what was the name of the book, and others are sharing it. So thank you for sharing that. So what top tips would you give to other race network leads? I think 20% of the audience are, who might be struggling when it comes to engaging with their senior leaders and middle managers?
So I think I've got three, because I know I've only got a minute for this one. Number one, don't reinvent the wheel. You know, link everything you're doing at the network to either if you have an EDI strategy, great, link it to that, or link it to your corporate KPIs or your corporate values, and then it makes it a lot easier for people to understand, because it's kind of familiar to them. And make sure you have an exec sponsor, because I said for us it's been absolutely paramount for everything we do. Also hold them accountable. If they're not doing a very good job, tell them. And we're lucky that Mark Thurston, our CEO, is very open to having those difficult conversations with us. And thirdly, use data to measure your impact. There's no point saying, oh yeah, we've made a massive impact, and somebody goes, well, how? And you haven't got any numbers to show. So hopefully your organisation already keeps track of kind of the gender or the ethnicity balance. But if it doesn't, really encourage that. And again, we have a number of sort of measures to measure our impact every year. So we've kind of made our own kind of KPIs, which might seem quite extra for a network, but for us it's this isn't just a sort of extracurricular activity. For us it really does mean